The story begins with a sad purple-haired teenage girl named Rachel Roth. She walks into a circus tent. An unseen announcer and a glowing sign both announce the flying Graysons. The Grayson parents fly high through the air. Their young son, Dick Grayson, stands ready to join them. Suddenly, the word flying on the sign goes dark. A rope snaps. The parents fall. People scream. They die in front of the crowd. Rachel wakes up. It was a nightmare. She is in her room, wrapped in the comforting arms of her mother, named Melissa. Rachel's room has crosses on the walls and the door. Melissa locks the door to keep Rachel inside. Melissa is scared. She tries to stay calm while Rachel's dark side grows. Rachel wonders what is happening inside her. Melissa prays. Then, a gunman bursts in and kills Melissa right in front of Rachel. Before dying, Melissa reveals that she is not Rachel's real mother. The truth makes Rachel even more confused. This triggers a powerful reaction. Her dark side grows stronger. A burst of power knocks the gunman back. Rachel escapes the house. She runs away and boards a one-way bus to Detroit. Unbeknownst to Rachel, Detective Dick Grayson is already in Detroit. He is a detective with the Detroit Police Department. Dick has resisted working with a partner since joining the department. His new partner, Amy, is introduced to him, but Dick doesn't want to connect with her. This feeling might be related to his past with Batman, but there is no time to think about that. Dick decides to wear the Robin suit again. It has been over a year since he last wore it. He uses it to take down a group of criminals. He stops a child abuser and drug dealer in a violent manner. Afterward, Dick walks away from the scene and speaks negatively about Batman. Far away in Austria, a woman with fiery red hair wakes up in a car that has crashed. The car is full of bullet holes. The shooters quickly return to chase her. She runs into the woods, escaping them. However, she does not know who she is. She finds a passport with the name Corey Anders. In her purse, she also finds a hotel key. She goes to the hotel. The hotel staff recognize her, but they can't explain anything about the key she holds. In her hotel room, Corey finds a man bound and gagged in her closet. She tries to question him, searching for answers about her identity. The situation quickly turns dangerous. The man frees himself, but Corey easily stops him. Before killing him, Corey learns that club owner Konstantin Kovar might know more about her. She follows this lead to his nightclub. There, the same shooters who attacked her before are waiting. Kovar speaks to Corey in anger, accusing her of betraying him. He talks about a girl Corey was searching for, then attempts to shoot her. However, Corey's powers awake. She is engulfed in flames. The fire burns Kovar and his men, turning them to ash. As the room burns, Corey finds a picture of Rachel. Rachel arrives in Detroit. She is brought to the police station after escaping a man who worked with her mother's killer. The man was pretending to be a worker at a homeless shelter. Dick is called to question Rachel, as he has a soft spot for protecting kids. When he sees Rachel, she immediately recognizes him. She believes the boy in her dreams was Dick. Her dreams led her to him. When she touches his hand, she glimpses Dick's past with Bruce Wayne. Rachel tells him about her mother's murder. As Dick starts to leave the room, Rachel pleads with him. She begs him to lock her up because she fears the dark powers inside her. Dick decides to leave her alone in the interrogation room. Dick later runs into Amy outside the station. He shows her a softer side. He talks to her about his preference for working alone. His past partner in Gotham had made him walk away from working with anyone. Dick did not want to become like his old partner. They share a smile, but then Dick learns that Rachel was telling the truth. His suspicions are confirmed. He rushes back to the station, only to find that another officer is taking Rachel. Dick immediately follows them. His pursuit leads him to an abandoned house. Rachel is being held there by the man who killed her mother. The man speaks about the dark force inside Rachel. He says she is cursed and will bring destruction. He holds a knife and plans to perform a ritual on her. He believes that the ritual will close a doorway and save the world from her powers. Before he can act, a dark force enters his mouth. The dark force kills him from the inside out. Dick watches in horror. He helps Rachel escape the house and the two run away together. Rachel starts to accept the truth. She now knows that her mother was wrong. She is one of the monsters that her mother once spoke about. She is not the only one, though. Elsewhere, a tiger is found causing trouble in an electronics store. The beast quickly escapes from the store's security. It morphs into a naked boy named Gar. He smiles, holding the video game he stole from the store. He runs into the woods with it. Rachel and Dick continue along their merry way after watching Rachel turn a cultist killer into a skin sack. Dick is shaken by the act, but he keeps driving. He talks to Rachel about the dark power inside her. She says she didn't mean to kill the man, but she has no answers for Dick about the force within her. Despite Rachel's mysterious nature, Dick still wants to help. He plans to take her somewhere safe. Dick forms a plan. He calls in one last favor from Alfred. He then shows up at the doorstep of his old crime-fighting partners. Amy tells him about the raven tattoo found on the killer's body. She also sends him the autopsy report. Rachel finds the report while going through Dick's things in their hotel room. In the report, she sees hints about Dick's connections to Bruce Wayne and videos showing his family's death. She also sees the lifeless body she left behind in the abandoned house. The sight brings out the darkness inside her. When Dick returns, he finds Rachel huddled in the bathtub. She is praying defensively and surrounded by crosses that she drew. Rachel and Dick keep bonding as they travel to Washington, D.C. Rachel, now an orphan, asks Dick about being adopted by Bruce. Dick avoids the question, but Rachel's feelings of being left behind hit him. He knows what it feels like to lose people. He tells Rachel that the pain never fully goes away, but he reassures her that he won't leave her. The two arrive at Hawk and Dove's home. Dove is surprised to see them. It has been 4 years since their last meeting. A lot has changed. Dick has become more violent, and Hawk and Dove's love for each other has grown stronger. Rachel has a vision of Dove and Dick's past love affair. The vision shows unresolved emotions between them. Dove agrees to take them in temporarily. She fills Dick in on Hawk's injuries and their plan to leave the vigilante life after one last job. Dove believes Dick could help them, just like in the past. But when Hawk arrives, he makes it clear that he doesn't want Dick there. Rachel later asks Dick why he hurt Dove. Dick brushes it off as something from the past, but Rachel knows it's more complicated. Despite Hawk's wishes, Dove tells Dick about their final mission. The plan seems perfect. The conversation shifts to Dick's plans for Rachel. Dick says he isn't good at staying close to people. He tells Dove that he doesn't plan to take Rachel in. He offers Dove a large sum of money from Alfred in exchange for doing the job. He also asks to leave Rachel in Hawk and Dove's care temporarily. Dick warns them not to go through with the mission, but Hawk enters the room, and his anger at Dick's presence leads to a fight. The fight grabs Rachel's attention. She screams, and her voice shatters the nearby windows, breaking up the fight. Hawk and Dove leave for their mission, leaving Rachel and Dick behind. Rachel urges Dick to help Hawk and Dove because he helped her before. Dick refuses. He believes helping others only leads to more hurt. Rachel understands but tells him that sometimes letting the darkness out feels good. This convinces Dick to show up and save Hawk and Dove, who are outnumbered and injured. Dick's violent actions surprise Dove, and she realizes he has changed. While the group is out, Rachel discovers Dick's money and note. She learns that Dick plans to leave her with Hawk and Dove. The trio finds her on the roof when they return. Rachel confronts Dick about leaving her behind. She shows the note to Hawk. Dick tries to deny it, but one touch of his hand proves he's lying. Being left behind leaves Rachel heartbroken and emotionally destroyed. A mysterious family, appearing to be stuck in the 1950s, is called into action by cult leader Dr. Adamson. They are sent to capture Rachel. The family hunts Dick and Rachel, killing Amy in the process. They appear on the roof as Rachel faces the truth about Dick. A fight breaks out, and the family easily overpowers them. Dick is thrown off the roof. Hawk, tied up and watching, can do nothing. The father of the family throws Dove through her birdhouse, sending her to the ground below. The family takes Rachel while Dick tries to help a seriously injured Dove. The image brings back his memories of his parents' deaths as he does. Corey follows the family and Rachel from the apartment to a remote gas station. Rachel tries to escape through a bathroom window. Corey blows a hole in the side of the building, frying the father in the process. Rachel leaves with Corey. Corey tells Rachel about her past at St. Paul's Convent. She shows Rachel a picture of herself as a baby with her mother and a group of nuns. Corey asks Rachel if she knows anything about her identity, but Rachel has no answers. When Rachel touches Corey, she sees nothing. The two talk about their inner darkness and light as they head toward the convent. At a local diner, Corey impresses Rachel with her strength, earning the title of total badass. They finally arrive at St. Paul's. Sister Catherine greets Rachel warmly. She recognizes Corey from a visit 1 year ago. Catherine tells Rachel about her time at the convent. Her mother brought her here to protect her from her father. The convent still wants to offer Rachel safety. Corey feels danger lurking inside the convent, but focuses on a new clue. Her odd key opens a storage locker at a nearby roller rink. Meanwhile, Dove recovers in the hospital with Hawk by her side. Dick visits them. He has no answers about the family but promises to find them and Rachel. The recent events force Dick to reflect on his childhood. After his parents died, a young Dick was taken in by Bruce Wayne. Dick quickly rejects the luxury of Wayne Manor and escapes through a window. Social services finds him and brings him back. Instead of punishment, a social worker explains that Bruce understands what Dick is going through because of his own loss. The social worker's explanation resonates with Dick. He returns to Wayne Manor but steals a car, the same one he drives now. He leads Gotham PD on a chase through the city. After a harsh talking to from his social worker, Dick returns to Wayne Manor. There, he finds a letter from Bruce, signaling the start of his training as Robin. This moment also marks the beginning of Dick's desire to find and kill his parents' murderer. Back in the present, Dick learns about Corey's break-in at Rachel's home and Amy's death. He finds the gas station where Corey rescued Rachel earlier. Using Wayne Tech gadgets, Dick steals the security footage from the station. The footage shows Corey leaving with Rachel. Dick tracks them using their car's license plate. The trail leads to the local roller rink, Scooter's Roller Palace. Corey's frog-branded key opens a storage room. She's not happy about it, but goes back to Rachel, who is preparing to play in the arcade. Corey asks Rachel about her father, but Rachel knows nothing. She plays a pinball machine, catching the attention of Gar. They talk about their hair colors, having a typical awkward teenage encounter. The fun ends when Dick arrives. He, Corey, and Rachel have a confrontation outside the building. Dick warns them that the police are looking for them. Rachel quickly turns the conversation to Dick's intention to leave her behind. The emotion from the argument triggers Rachel's dark power. Her force blows out several car windows. The three rush back to the convent. The patrons of Scooters, including Gar, watch them leave. Gar, curious about his new friend, stays behind. The family, now without the father, reports their failure to Dr. Adamson. The doctor threatens to kill them, saying they are better than this. The daughter asks about Rachel's importance, and Dr. Adamson reveals that Rachel's father is the bringer of doomsday. Only Rachel can welcome him to their world. The daughter expresses her desire to see a world stripped of its outer flesh. Adamson decides to give the family another chance and supplies them with a new father. Back at the convent, Dick opens up to Rachel. He admits to his past mistakes and the pain of being alone. Rachel points out that Dick has misled her, and he agrees. He knows what it feels like to be alone because he feels the same pain. He urges Rachel to learn to control her emotions if she ever wants to move forward. Corey uses the opportunity to steal Dick's car and head toward the newly discovered storage room. Dick isn't far behind. At the storage room, Corey finds pictures of Rachel, maps, newspaper clippings, and an odd machine that looks like a tanning bed. It glows with purple light. There are also manuscripts in a language Corey can speak but doesn't understand. She finds an audio log made by herself a year ago. In it, Corey talks about pursuing Russian smugglers who brought Rachel and her mother to the convent under new identities. Dick arrives and notices several images of ravens on the documents lining the walls. He asks Corey about her origins, but she avoids the question. Corey realizes that the mortality rate spiked on Rachel's birthday. She starts to believe that Rachel is part of a world-ending prophecy. Rachel is the destroyer of worlds. This dark truth is revealed when Rachel's power erupts at the convent. After Sister Catherine drugs and locks Rachel away, the darkness inside her explodes. The blast allows Rachel to escape into the woods. Corey and Dick see smoke rising from the convent in the distance. Rachel runs through the snowy woods after escaping the convent. She is unaware that Gar Logan is following her in tiger form. His transformation catches her attention. Gar leads Rachel away from the destruction she caused. They talk about their powers. Gar believes they are special, but Rachel feels like she is a danger. Suddenly, gunshots are heard. Two hunters try to kill a wounded deer. Rachel stops them, and one hunter gets shot in the arm. Rachel comforts the deer as it dies, but Gar pulls her away. The deer then heals and awakens. Gar takes Rachel to his home. It looks like an abandoned mansion at first, but it lights up to reveal a teenage paradise. There are video games and endless orange crush. Rachel questions Gar's living situation. Both Gar and Rachel reveal that their parents are dead. Gar rushes Rachel into a closet when someone enters. It is Cliff, also known as Robot Man. He is angry with Gar for bringing Rachel to their home. The argument distracts Gar long enough for Rachel to see Larry, also called Negative Man. He is cooking dinner while listening to AC/DC. Rachel joins the group for dinner, and later, Rita, also known as Elastigirl, arrives. She has managed to form her unstable cells into her normal appearance. However, her face starts to lose shape. Rachel comforts Rita by holding her hand and sees visions of the accident that changed Rita's body. Rita's face returns to normal just as Chief, the group's doctor, arrives. Meanwhile, Dick and Corey are searching for Rachel. Corey is upset with Dick for leaving her with the nuns. The two stop at a local police station, where an officer tells them about the hunter's encounter with the purple-haired girl. They visit one of the hunters. He isn't very helpful, and a fight breaks out between him and Dick. Dick's knuckles get bloody, but he stops when he sees the hunter's son watching. The hunter then tells them about an old house. Corey gives the man money and apologizes before they leave. Corey criticizes Dick for letting his demons guide him. Dick argues, but Corey points out that if he doesn't deal with his issues, a bigger explosion is coming. She suggests that Dick is still making the same mistakes, keeping his emotions to himself. They stop the conversation to focus on infiltrating the abandoned house. Inside, Chief interrupts dinner for a good reason. He pulls the group into helping a new patient, Arani Desai. Chief's medicine doesn't work on Arani's fluctuating body temperature. However, Rachel's touch stabilizes her, much to Chief's surprise. Chief's curiosity soon turns into anger. He scolds Gar for being selfish, saying Gar can live freely in public while the others cannot. Chief uses this moment to learn more about Rachel's powers. He offers to help her, explaining that he assists those others have given up on. He convinces Rachel to submit to an examination. The situation turns bad when Rachel begins to doubt her decision. Gar threatens Chief when he refuses to release Rachel. Gar is hit with a tranquilizer dart for his trouble. The stress causes Rachel's dark energy to erupt. She slams Chief against the wall of the examination room. Dick arrives just in time to stop Rachel. His embrace calms her, and her dark energy and a mysterious portal fade away. As Dick, Corey, and Rachel leave the house, Cliff tells Gar that he should go with them. Gar hesitates at first, but Cliff knows that Gar can have a real life. He can have more than the others in the house. Gar says his goodbyes to the Doom Patrol, and Chief, now paralyzed, reflects on everything that has happened. Dick, Corey, Rachel, and Gar hide out in a rundown motel at the edge of nowhere. Dick has traded his posh Porsche for a more practical minivan to keep a low profile. After everyone settles in, the hotel owner takes a liking to Dick, which leads to a bonding session. Dick gathers the group together and explains that their alliance was born out of mutual need. They must learn what each can do and how to fight together. Corey shares that her power comes from the sun, making her weak at night. She shows the group how she controls her flame with precision. Gar, excited to show his ability, transforms into his green tiger form, forgetting he is naked when he turns back into a human. Rachel is reluctant to show her powers, fearing she might hurt her friends. Dick reassures her, telling her not to be afraid of the darkness inside because it is part of her. Feeling encouraged, Rachel lets the darkness flow from her mouth, but it quickly becomes uncontrollable. Corey lights up the night with her flame, helping Rachel regain control. The group turns to Dick, asking about his powers. He simply says, "I can keep you alive." The group's training session is over, and they finally get some time to relax. Rachel asks Gar about his experience with transformation. He tells her it doesn't hurt, but makes him feel stronger and freer. The act of roaring, he explains, expresses that freedom. Rachel responds by letting out a roar of her own. Dick and Corey watch over the others from the motel balcony. Corey continues to try to understand Rachel's role in the prophecy. Rachel could either destroy the world or save it. However, Dick is more concerned about forcing Gar and Rachel to train and fight at such a young age. He hints at how his training with Bruce Wayne shaped his feelings, but stops short of revealing Bruce's name or any details. Corey points out that Dick can't be afraid to let people in. This leads Dick to retreat to his room, calling it a night. Corey, however, follows him. She shows up at his door with a bottle of tequila and a plan to learn what Dick is hiding. They share a shot before Dick shows Corey his moves. While they enjoy their time together, Dick's emotional walls remain intact. Corey leaves, disappointed, as Dick continues his self-imposed guard duty. Meanwhile, Dr. Adamson has given the family a new father after a thorough brainwashing and reprogramming process. The family resumes their mission to find Rachel. They track the group's location by forcing a used car dealer to reveal where Dick's Porsche was bought. The family takes their vitamins before heading to the motel. The family launches their attack soon after Dick and Corey's rendezvous. The parents target Dick, while the children engage Corey in the hotel hallway. A fierce fight breaks out. Dick is thrown through a second-story window and lands on a car below. Corey, Rachel, and Gar regroup outside but find themselves surrounded by the family. Corey tries to ignite her flame but struggles due to it being nighttime. The family moves in, and a smoke bomb lands among them. Robin makes his grand entrance, fighting the family while Gar and Rachel join the battle. Together, they manage to capture the attackers. The captured family members are interrogated, but they reveal little. They only know that their employer wants Rachel for unknown reasons. They refuse to reveal the identity of their employer. Dick searches the family's car for clues. Rachel asks him about Robin, and he explains his intention to leave the red and green behind when he came to Detroit. But the mask, he says, called to him, despite the pain and loss of control it causes. Rachel feels the connection, and Gar is excited to learn about Dick's connection to Batman. In the family's car, Dick discovers Dr. Adamson's name and location. He heads out to confront him. When Adamson sees Dick in the lobby of his penthouse, he self-destructs the family. Dick enters Adamson's home, determined to find more information. Adamson tells him little, revealing that his organization is sending people to kill them both. Just then, the shooters arrive and subdue Dick after a fight. A smoke bomb goes off, signaling the arrival of another Robin. This new Robin saves Dick and introducing himself as the new Robin. Dick and Jason transport an unconscious Adamson to a secure location. Jason is more excited about meeting Dick than Dick is about meeting Jason. Jason compares their suits and expresses how much it means to meet the original Boy Wonder. Dick is not as enthusiastic. His mood worsens when Jason reveals that Batman planted a tracker in Dick's arm to find him. The two take Adamson to a Wayne safe house. Dick cannot access the house without Jason. The elevator ride is long, filled with Dick's questions. He wonders why Jason would choose to become Robin. Jason talks about the thrill of fighting and the fame that comes with the mask. He says that Batman needs Robin, and he is proud to help. Jason asks why Dick quit being Robin, but Dick avoids answering. He goes to the bathroom to remove the tracker and tells Corey and the others to come to the safe house. Jason is upset about Dick removing the tracker, but Dick points out that their understanding of Bruce is very different. Dick tells Jason to leave, but Jason refuses. He wants to show Dick something. Jason shows him pictures of dead bodies from Dick's past. These victims were from the circus Dick performed with as a child. They were killed with acid, a method used by the Maroni crime family. The family was responsible for killing Dick's parents. The killer, called the Melting Man, is targeting people from Dick's past. The next victim is Clay, Dick's former guardian. The rest of the Titans arrive, but Dick leaves them to protect Clay. Gar gets another chance to meet the two Robins before Dick and Jason split. They track Clay to Milwaukee, where he works as a bouncer at a nightclub. They try to enter the club, but Jason's fake ID doesn't work on the doorman. Jason sneaks in through the back. Dick reunites with Clay. Clay comments on how well Dick turned out under Bruce's care compared to his own. Jason starts a fight for fun, but Dick stops it. Suddenly, a car explodes outside the club. In the panic, Clay gets separated from Dick. Dick gets a phone call from Clay, but it's not him on the line. The Melting Man has taken Clay and wants to meet Dick alone. Dick quickly figures out that the Melting Man is Nick Zuko, the son of the Maroni hitman who killed Dick's parents. 2 years ago, Dick attacked Zuko's prison transport after learning he would get federal protection for turning state's witness. Dick's attack allowed the Maronis to kill Zuko, canceling his protection. Dick tells Jason not to be Robin because Jason does not understand the price of wearing the mask. Dick rushes to save Clay. Nick threatens to kill Clay with acid. He talks about how the acid changed him, but this backfires when Jason arrives to stop him. Jason takes an acid round to the chest, but his new suit protects him. Jason runs off to deal with the arriving police, leaving Dick to handle Clay. Letting Jason deal with the police turns out to be a mistake. Jason kills some of the officers. Dick runs in to stop him, but Jason doesn't understand why. The mask gives him power to do whatever he wants, and he enjoys it. Jason knows who he is, but he questions whether Dick knows who he is. Jason wonders how Dick can say he doesn't want to be Robin when he still wears the suit Bruce gave him. The two Robins go their separate ways. Dick calls Corey to tell her he is heading back to the Chicago safe house. Corey asks how many Robins will be returning. Dick answers, none. The call ends with Dick telling Corey to leave Adamson alone until he gets back. Corey agrees, but wakes Adamson up after hanging up. Adamson tells Corey that she can do anything she wants to him, but he will only speak to Rachel. Rachel is allowed to speak with Dr. Adamson alone, even though Dick resists. Dr. Adamson, handcuffed, reassures Rachel that she is not a monster. He tells her that his goal, and the goal of the organization, is to reunite her with her father so she can save the world. To prove his words, he slices his own throat with a broken thermometer, hoping that Rachel will heal him. Rachel heals him out of shock. Later, Dick and Corey interrogate Adamson. He reveals that Rachel's mother, Angela, is still alive. Angela tried to hide Rachel from her father, but this led to her being locked away in the organization's secret asylum. The news drives Rachel to act. She immediately wants to go to the asylum to find her mother. Dick warns that it could be a trap. Gar and Corey agree that any attack on the facility should be delayed. Rachel gets angry and storms off. Gar follows her, deciding to go with her. Despite having a new family, Rachel still feels alone. Angela is too important to wait any longer. Gar leaves Corey and Dick behind. The two are making a plan to infiltrate the heavily guarded asylum when they realize Rachel and Gar are gone. In the asylum's tunnels, they meet a group of guards, doctors, and Gar held at gunpoint. Dick and Corey are forced to surrender. The asylum is also where Dr. Adamson brainwashed the nuclear family. Dick is given a hallucinogenic treatment, forcing him to face his worst fears. These fears take the form of a battle between Robin and young Dick. Robin defeats two orderlies and escapes his cell. He meets his younger self in the hallway. A strong blow sends Robin flying back to Wayne Manor. He finds the letter that Bruce gave him when he was a child. Young Dick throws Robin into the Batcave. There, young Dick beats Robin with a staff, accusing him of ruining what Robin was meant to be. Robin was supposed to be the answer, but Dick turned him into a monster. The internal battle rages on while Dick remains silent, strapped to a chair. Rachel wakes up in Dr. Adamson's office. He is sitting there with her. At first surprised, she becomes curious about her mother. Adamson refuses to let her see Angela. He tries to convince Rachel to recruit her friends into the organization by showing her how they are being tortured. This backfires when Rachel's darkness comes out. Adamson wants Rachel to call her father, but she chooses another path. She takes back the wound Adamson healed on his neck, causing it to reopen. Rachel learns the location of Angela, finds her, and sets out to rescue her friends. First, Gar is released from his cage. He He saves Rachel from an organization doctor by attacking in his tiger form. Gar's first time biting someone leaves the doctor dead with blood running down his chin. Gar recovers, and the trio wakes Dick from his catatonic state. They save Corey from the experiments being done on her. Dick had promised Rachel he would never leave, so he keeps his word. The Titans and Angela try to escape through the underground tunnel. Guards block their way. Dick fights them, clearing the path by himself. The head doctor, who tortured Dick, sees the chaos and runs the other way. Dick remembers the gas lines surrounding them. He calls on Corey to create the spark needed to bring the facility down. It all must end. The Titans leave Corey to set the asylum on fire. Corey walks out the front door, finding Dick throwing his Robin suit into the flames. Everything needed to end here. The crew is reunited, along with Angela. With the burning asylum behind them, the Titans take a brief moment to relax. Rachel and Gar joke over breakfast about Dick and Corey possibly being together. Afterward, Rachel shares a calm moment with her mother. Gar is invited to join them but feels uncomfortable. Corey wakes up next to Dick, complaining about nightmares from the trauma in the asylum. Fleeting visions of her in an alien cockpit fade into worry as she sees Dick packing his bags. It seems Dick is about to leave again. Dick believes his promise to keep Rachel safe is complete now that the organization's headquarters has been destroyed. Corey points out that Rachel isn't the only one who can have a normal life. Dick doesn't listen to her. He destroyed the Robin suit and now needs to find balance in his own identity. The two leave the door open for a future relationship. Angela suggests that the team stay at her abandoned home in Ohio. Dick tells the group about this plan. Rachel is visibly disappointed, but she gives Dick a big hug when the group sees him off. With Dick gone, the remaining team members make their way to Ohio by train. Corey jokes about Gar's attraction to Rachel. Meanwhile, Rachel and Angela reconnect during the long trip. Angela tells Rachel that she knew Melissa and left Rachel in her care to protect her from her father. Angela wanted Rachel to have a mother, and now she can provide that. Rachel asks about her powers. Angela explains that Rachel gets them from her father, but there's nothing to fear. Rachel's father can't hurt them anymore. This is comforting, but Rachel still seems unsure. Dick seeks guidance from his longtime friend and fellow sidekick Donna Troy. He shows up at Donna's doorstep to tell her he has quit being Robin. Donna is on her way to a photography event, so she offers Dick advice on dealing with the stress of giving up his identity. Donna didn't quit being Wonder Girl, she just stopped over time. Dick struggles with this. Donna offers Dick a place to stay while he figures things out. She gives him his first lesson. Try to act normal with normal people at her event. Dick fails badly. It gets worse when Donna leaves him alone at the event to meet a client. Dick watches Donna being blindfolded and taken away in an unmarked van. The meeting turns out to be with a prominent African poacher. Donna plans to photograph a truck full of illegal animal skins and a live bear meant for organ harvesting. The poacher wants revenge against his boss. Donna realizes that the poacher's real motive is to control the endangered animal market. She refuses to shoot the bear when handed a rifle. Just as the meeting ends, Dick jumps from the shadows and takes out the poacher. Donna is upset because Dick ruined her chance to take down the poaching ring. She makes him take a picture of her playing dead next to the knocked-out poacher to mislead them. Donna is ready to give Dick his lesson after the night's events. Donna's guardian placed her on a path of self-discovery, while Bruce Wayne set Dick on a path of rage. Donna was able to give up being Wonder Girl because she realized she could do more good as Donna Troy. Dick can't be a civilian or Robin, so he must find something else to be. Once he does, he can take down anyone he wants. Dick thanks Donna, and they share a heartfelt moment. Donna then notices the alien language on Dick's phone. She recognizes it and translates the passages from Corey's storage room. Corey continues to suffer from unexplained flashbacks. Despite trying to ease the pain with some bourbon, she feels on edge, either from the alcohol or the asylum. She becomes interested in the train's bartender, Jerry. Corey threatens him but backs off when he cowers and pleads his innocence. Jerry is not what he seems. He calls law enforcement, telling them that Corey is on the train. The police stop the train and try to arrest Corey. Corey uses her powers to fight back before escaping through a window. She meets up with the group further down the tracks. The group continues toward Ohio in a stolen truck. They finally reach Angela's home in Killdeer, Ohio. Corey's flashbacks begin to cause her physical pain. Rachel notices and offers to heal her. She believes she can restore Corey's memory. Corey is hesitant, but agrees to let Rachel try. Meanwhile, Dick and Donna are racing toward Ohio. Donna translates Corey's document and finds it is a mission statement for someone named Starfire. Starfire has been sent to capture Rachel and possibly kill her. Rachel's healing powers work too well, restoring Corey's memories, including her mission. Corey grabs Rachel by the waist. Her eyes glow green, signaling that she is preparing to attack. A drunk and heavily medicated Hank tries to stay vigilant. He is watching over the hospital bed of Dawn. However, his body is growing heavy with exhaustion. Eventually, he passes out. The moment he loses consciousness, he is transported to his past. He relives the time when he was a star Pee-wee football player. His half-brother, Donnie, cheers him on from the sidelines. But things take a turn when they run into Hank's coach in the locker room. The coach, a sexual predator, tries to convince Donnie to join him in the weight room. Hank, sensing danger, tries to stop him. When the coach threatens to expel the slum boys, Hank offers to take Donnie's place. It becomes clear where Hank's deep anger and emotional issues stem from. The scene shifts to their college days. Hank is now a star receiver. He's once again cheered on by Donnie, who is excelling as a student. But Hank is struggling. The hits from his football career have taken a toll on his body. He is diagnosed with post-concussion syndrome. Despite the diagnosis, Hank refuses to stop playing. Donnie, concerned for his brother, takes matters into his own hands. He tells the athletic director about Hank's condition. As a result, Hank is benched. This decision enrages Hank, and it's clear he is not happy about it. Tensions explode between the two brothers. They argue, and the argument quickly turns into a physical fight. In the university library, they take down multiple men. Donnie, fed up with the university's demands, tells the dean to expel them. He's had enough of the system that has taken away Hank's health and still asks for more. With no way to channel his anger, Donnie suggests they take justice into their own hands. They decide to go after the many sex offenders who have gotten away with their crimes. Hawk and Dove are born in this moment. Donnie becomes the original Dove. As they prepare for their mission, the past collides with the future. Rachel appears to Hank in both a mirror and a computer monitor. She calls out to him, but Hank doesn't respond. Meanwhile, Dawn performs gracefully on the ballet stage. Her mother watches from the crowd, applauding her performance. Dawn moves with such precision that she earns a standing ovation. Afterward, she shares tea with her mother. The mood shifts when her mother informs her that she's returning to her abusive husband. Dawn, strong and determined, tells her mother that she is capable of leaving. She reminds her mother that both she and her sister were able to leave violent environments. The love between them is evident, but the pep talk doesn't change her mother's mind. The conversation ends without resolution. They both know it's a topic that will come up again. Their worlds collide later at a newsstand on B Street. Dawn and her mother unexpectedly run into Hank and Donnie. The two men are celebrating the front-page news of Hawk and Dove. Their excitement quickly fades into shock when a truck crashes into the newsstand. The accident claims the lives of Donnie and Dawn's mother. Hank and Dawn meet again during a support group session. Neither speaks until they find themselves alone at a bar afterward. Hank's tough exterior starts to break down, thanks to Dawn's quiet persistence. They open up to each other about their shared pain. Hank admits to the weight of his loss, but it's Dawn who's truly struggling. During the next group session, Dawn's frustration boils over. She expresses her anger over the unfairness of the accident, the lack of answers, and the lack of someone to blame. She yearns for justice, but her desire to make life fair is temporarily put on hold when she finds Hank waiting for her outside. As they spend more time together, their bond deepens. During her first overnight stay at Hank's place, Dawn discovers the Hawk and Dove costumes. The discovery forces Hank to confront Donnie's memory in a healthy way. He shows Dawn footage of their one and only night working together. Watching the footage gives Dawn the strength to press Hank about the abuse he endured from his childhood coach. Hank opens up for the first time. He admits what happened, but tells Dawn he never retaliated against the coach. When she asks if he ever did anything to the coach, Hank answers firmly, no. He explains that seeking revenge would make everything real. They leave the conversation there, with Hank leaving Dawn to sleep on his couch. But Dawn can't sleep. She searches Hank's things and finds his medications. She also discovers the coach's name in an old yearbook. The sound of the door closing wakes Hank. He finds Dawn gone and sees that she has uncovered the coach's address on his laptop. Dawn forces her way into the coach's home. She confronts him, making him admit his actions with Hank. The coach pulls a gun on her, and a violent struggle ensues. The coach crawls toward his gun, but Hank steps in. His boot pins the coach's hand to the ground. Hank tells Dawn to leave, but she refuses. Dawn closes the door as Hank prepares to take action. They strip away their emotional barriers, sharing an intimate night together. The next morning, Dawn realizes that they can't keep working together in the long term. Before she can leave, she notices Rachel's reflection in Hawk's helmet. Rachel's cries for help are loud and clear. Dawn wakes up in her hospital bed, back in the present. She falls into Hank's arms and tells him that Rachel needs their help. They must find Jason Todd. Rachel's telepathic messages to Hank and Dawn are engulfed in flames. The fiery visions fade as she is pulled back into the harsh reality. Her friend Corey has her by the throat. Just in time, Dick and Donna return. Donna swiftly subdues Corey, knocking her out cold. Rachel blames herself. She believes that her attempt to heal Corey went wrong and caused the attack. Angela, furious, demands that Corey leave. Corey, unable to remember the assault, apologizes before leaving with Dick and Donna not far behind. Rachel tries to defend Corey to her mother. Even after the attempt on her life, Angela doesn't believe her, but she's still thankful that her daughter is safe. Rachel, Gar, and Angela start to settle into a more peaceful life. While tending to her garden, Angela is surprised by her old friend Tommy. Tommy, now a sheriff, asks Angela about the train incident. Angela avoids answering, shifting the conversation away. Adjusting to their new life proves harder for Rachel and Gar. Gar tries to comfort Rachel, telling her not to blame herself for what happened with Corey. Despite his support, Rachel pushes him away, fearing she might hurt him. Angela reminds Rachel of the importance of holding on to loved ones, which helps Rachel reconcile with Gar. But Gar, struggling with his own demons after losing control of the beast inside him in the asylum, is not so easily comforted. When Rachel apologizes, Gar observes that something feels wrong with the house. Meanwhile, Dick and Donna follow Corey to an abandoned factory. The three of them enter the factory, which is dim and empty. Suddenly, a security system activates, scanning them. It recognizes Corey and reveals her cloaked spaceship just a few feet away. The trio boards the ship, and Corey's memories begin flooding back. She remembers her home planet, Tamaran, and recognizes an old book inside the ship. It's called Death of Worlds, and Corey recalls the truth behind her mission. She must kill Rachel. If Rachel survives, Tamaran will burn. An interdimensional force, Rachel's father, Trigon, is the cause. Trigon will return through Rachel to destroy all worlds, and Angela is still working with him to bring about this destruction. Donna believes Rachel can defeat Trigon if he returns, but Corey insists that Rachel can only do so by surviving a brutal series of trials. The theory is nice, but the three of them need to head back to Killdeer to uncover Angela's hidden motives. Rachel asks Angela about her father and the powers she inherited from him. Angela claims that the darkness Rachel inherited can be used for good, just before an opportunity to do so presents itself. Gar, bleeding from the mouth, collapses on the bathroom floor. Tommy arrives unannounced at that moment. Rachel tries to heal Gar, while Tommy calls for help. However, none of the phones work. In a tragic turn, Angela kills Tommy. Rachel fails to heal Gar, but Angela knows who can. It's Rachel's father, Trigon. At first, Rachel doubts her mother's words, but eventually, she agrees. Rachel summons Trigon into their dimension. He heals Gar at Rachel's request, and the moment Gar is healed, Rachel collapses into her father's arms. Rachel comforts Gar as Trigon and Angela reconnect. Just as she is done, Trigon and Angela prepare for their destructive path. However, Trigon's true purpose will be fulfilled only when Rachel's heart is fully broken. The final battle looms. Dick, Donna, and Corey return to find the house surrounded by dark energy. Dick manages to break through the shield, but Donna and Corey cannot follow. Dick moves toward the front door, ready to face whatever comes next. Sometime in the future, Dick has settled in California with a pregnant Dawn and their son, Johnny. They enjoy a lazy afternoon by the pool. However, their peace is interrupted when they receive a call from Rachel and Gar, who are away at college together. The two seem to be doing great, and the Titans are living separate, conflict-free lives. That is, until Jason Todd, now in a wheelchair, shows up at Dick's doorstep. Jason urgently informs Dick that Bruce is in trouble. Gotham has fallen into chaos after Commissioner Gordon's murder. Jason fears Bruce is about to kill the Joker in retaliation. He begs Dick, the real Robin, to return to Gotham. Dick is hesitant, but Dawn, taking on the mantle of support, reminds him that he is the only one who can save Bruce from his dark path. Dick agrees to go after their baby is born, but a reality flux pushes him to leave sooner. Upon arriving in Gotham, Dick is shocked to find the city in worse condition than he anticipated. Crime runs rampant. Gotham PD is opposing vigilante justice, and the bat signal has been retired. It doesn't take long for Dick to decide that he needs to return home. However, another flux leads him to a crime scene connected to Batman. There, he discovers the Joker's lifeless body. He assumes Batman is responsible and informs Gotham PD. As Dick leaves, he watches as Joker's hand twitches and EMTs rush the villain to the hospital. Dick breaks into Wayne Manor, hoping to talk Bruce down by opening a secret passage to the Batcave. When the passage doesn't open, he communicates with Bruce through a security camera, telling him that Joker is still alive. Dick urges Bruce not to cross the line into murder, relating their relationship to his own bond with Rachel. He leaves after delivering his message. At the hospital, Dick unexpectedly runs into Corey, now working as an FBI agent. She questions his motives for trying to save Bruce, but another flux causes the building's power to cut out. They rush to the scene where they find Batman standing over the dead Joker. They make their escape through the window. Dick calls Dawn to inform her of the murder, and he expresses his anger about Hank helping her. He is then alerted to an attack on Arkham Asylum. Batman has lost control, killing inmates, guards, nurses, and even the warden. It's clear that Batman can no longer be saved. Dick is forced to reveal his identity to the police. The revelation leads Dick to team up with Gotham PD for a raid on Wayne Manor. Multiple SWAT teams infiltrate the mansion, but are quickly taken out by Bruce in the Batcave. Corey prepares to use force, but Batman shoots her with a cold gun, killing her instantly. Dick has no choice but to bring down the house with demo charges. He enters the wreckage and finds Bruce still alive, trapped under rubble. In his grief and rage, Dick succumbs to the darkness, telling Bruce that he has won before ultimately killing him. A final reality flux reveals the entire ordeal to be a figment of Dick's imagination. He is still frozen in Angela's living room. The act of killing Batman transforms Dick into his darkest self, his eyes now surrounded by black rings similar to Rachel's. Rachel desperately tries to snap him out of his hypnotic state, but Trigon's influence refuses to let go of the former Robin. Trigon allows Dick to escape his troubled past, and Angela welcomes him into their family, and a horrified Rachel watches as Dick declares how good it feels to be home. Elsewhere, a man, naked and disoriented, escapes from a secret laboratory somewhere in Metropolis. He frees a dog, locked in a kryptonite-laden cell. The dog's eyes flash red, and a tattoo of Superman's crest appears on the man's shoulder. It seems that Superboy and Krypto are making their way to the surface just in time.